To kick off Computex 2022, AMD went nuclear in their opening keynote, announcing the next generation of Ryzen CPUs. So here's everything you need to know about what AMD announced thus far. Kicking off the keynote, AMD CEO Lisa Su acknowledged how much of a demand and growth the industry has seen in the last few years. She then went on to acknowledge that the pandemic has upended practically everyone's lives at this point, and the demand for remote or hybrid model work is significant, which segued her nicely into talking about notebooks. AMD lauded their success of the Ryzen 6000 powered notebooks, and of course, highlighted the productivity application performance gains in their Ryzen Pro processors. But the only real new announcement here was Mendocino, a new mobile APU meant to deliver performance for all those ballers on a budget. Laptops with this APU will be between $400 and $700 and will ship in Q4 of 2022, so later this year. But the laptop talk wasn't quite over yet, as AMD detailed their laptops with quote-unquote AMD Advantage, essentially high-performance gaming laptops using the latest architectural technology from AMD and ecosystem-like technologies, such as Smart Shift and Smart Access. These are essentially optimizations AMD has made of the components talking to each other to maximize performance and battery life. Perhaps the most notable of these technologies is AMD Smart Access Storage. I'm going to refer to it as AMD's SAS from here on out. SAS is essentially an optimization of Microsoft's direct access storage technology, which allows the GPU of a system to directly access things from a really fast performing drive, such as an NVMe M.2. This significantly improves texture streaming and loading times, as the GPU can bypass awaiting instructions from the CPU. Pretty cool, all things considered. Capping off the segment is a flagship gaming laptop featuring all of these latest AMD technologies, the Corsair Voyager, a streaming-centric laptop with a streaming class webcam, whatever that means, and a built-in 10-key stream deck for, well, streaming. As far as a gaming laptop goes, it's more than competent, with a high-end Ryzen 6000 chip and a Radeon GPU, finishing with a 16-inch 240Hz 1440p display. This is Corsair's first foray into laptops, and I'll be interested in seeing how it turns out. And now, finally, we've reached the meat and potatoes. The all-new Ryzen 7000 series, powered by the also-new Zen 4 architecture and AM5 socket. Let me tell you, these processors look absolutely insane. I said at the beginning, AMD went nuclear. This was them turning the keys and hitting the button. Ryzen 7000 truly came off as a next-generation CPU, featuring things like expanded mid-level caches, clock speed boosts, single-thread improvements, and optimizations for AI-based instruction sets. But wait, there's more! Zen 4 features support for DDR5 and PCIe 5.0, as well as on-chip RDNA 2 graphics, which is an absolute boon if you ever have to troubleshoot a Ryzen-based system. This all comes together with the new aforementioned AM5 socket, as well as X670 chipset. With this new platform, AMD is able to offer 24 lanes of PCIe 5.0, so your super fast storage and GPU isn't bottlenecked anywhere, as well as support for 14 super speed USB ports with USB-C at 20 gigabits per second worth of bandwidth. Holy shit, that's a lot of I/O. Returning to raw CPU performance, AMD showcased a 16-core Ryzen 7000 processor playing Ghostwire Tokyo. Of note here is the insane clock speeds the processor was shown to be sustaining. For the bulk of the gameplay, the Zen 4 powered chip was seen sustaining clock speeds between 5.3 and 5.5 GHz. Damn. AMD seems to be offering you all the clock speed they can out of the box, so the need to overclock is lessened. Capping everything off was a head-to-head Cinebench battle between presumably the same processor running the Ghostwire Tokyo demo and an Intel i9-12900K. Both processors have 16 cores, but the new Ryzen 7000 chip wiped the floor with Intel's flagship, which means AMD has done significant multi-core optimizations with Zen 4. The nuclear warhead has reached its target at this point. The presentation was sparse on exact details like pricing or the exact lineup, but we do know we will be seeing the Ryzen 7000 this fall, so late Q3, early Q4. As for my brief opinion, man, is it exciting to be an enthusiast when there's real competition. Both AMD and Intel have really lit a fire under each other's asses, and we get to reap the benefits. But we'll have to see how that design pans out for Intel. Speaking of, Intel is really going to have to hit it out of the park with their 13th gen Raptor Lake processors, or else I'm going to be upgrading to Ryzen 7000 come this fall. AMD is officially done playing catch-up, and now the only thing really separating AMD and Intel is Intel's hybrid chip design, which if you'd like to know more about, check out our video here, and I'll see you in the next one.